Tna, the new face of professional wrestling.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Feast or Fired. This is the review for the July 31st, 2002 pay-per-view from TNA Impact, or TNA, just TNA, right? Brian is my wife, Melanie.
Hello.
And let's just jump into it. We're starting off the X Division Championship with Elix Skipper challenging AJ Styles for the title. Any commentary? Because I know you had things to say while we were watching the match.
I mean, the only thing, like, as of right now that I can think of, that Primetime did a backflip. And then anything else I have at this point after you match, and then I have thoughts about the match afterward.
Right. This match was kind of slower than we were expected for AJ Styles. I don't know. It looks like he was not 100% into it. I don't know if he was just not feeling well this week, or he was selling the idea that he's supposed to be kind of more heelish right now. I have no idea. But it was a bit slower. There was some early agility. You get to see a cool. I think that move you're talking about that you were really into is when oh no, I know. Was it Elix Skipper that jumped in the ring? You said.
Primetime.
Yeah. Was it just him climbing into the ring right at the beginning?
Yeah, that was really.
We see some cool moves from AJ Styles. He does this thing where he runs at Elix Skipper when he's in the corner, and he does a backflip jumping off of his chest. Elix comes walking out after and runs into a clothesline. That was pretty cool. They do a fight outside the ring a little bit. During this match, Jerry Lynn is on commentary, basically trying to sell the idea that they're back on the same page again, though this has been kind of a back and forth of we're on the same page, now we're fighting, we're on the same page, now we're fighting. So I you know, my expectations have already been set for how this is going to go tonight, though not in this match necessarily. Eventually, the finish comes when Elix Skipper goes for his finisher. AJ Styles manages to avoid it, but Skipper turns that into a pin, and then he kicks out. AJ Styles is on the ground after this. Skipper goes for a move off the top rope. He goes to a springboard off the center ropes, but AJ Styles kicks his legs out from under him. He falls, and man, Skipper being kind of reckless. I think that's kind of something he has a reputation for, being kind of reckless. He falls right on his neck. It looks horrible, but I guess he was fine because Styles hit the spiral tap, gets the victory, defends his title, and that was it for the match. It was, I don't know, it was like mid-length. No, it wasn't super long. It was like 7 minutes maybe.
I don't know. I'm gonna go back to something.
Yeah.
All stylists. Yeah, he looked. And the ref started counting before the pin.
This is just something you're gonna have to let go of.
Like
as they go for the pin, you'll see the ref get down because they know what's coming.
But no, I heard one before the pin was started.
Technically, when he's on the top of him and his shoulders are down, it's considered a pin, even if he doesn't have like the leg hooked.
I don't even think.
I would have to watch it again to be certain, but I think you're nitpicking.
I think I am. I might just be nitpicking. Right.
All right.
Because, like I said, stylists.
Ultimately, the story of this match is that they were selling the idea that Styles had like a bit of an attitude tonight. I think that was the idea behind it.
I don't know. It just annoys me because Stylist is that does like a lot of like one of my top.
He still did it.
Not many.
All right. Can't do it all the time. Anyways, we don't even we go to the commentary table where we have them talking to each other. They're giving us some information. Apparently, something about an announcement from last week, but I do not recall this ever being brought up, that Ricky Steamboat was going to be there. I don't recall that from last week.
I don't either.
All right, so Steamboat addresses the situation of the end of last week's show where Malice stole the title. It was given back to Shamrock. Apparently, also, he called Jarrett into this meeting, but I don't see how Jarrett had any obligation to show up because he was suspended at the time.
Jarrett had anything?
Not with that. Well, I mean, he's been complaining about the title this whole time.
And I think he has every right to.
All right. Well, apparently Scott Hall asked for the suspension to be lifted so that he could have a match with Jeff Jarrett. So Jeff Jarrett is no longer suspended. But it didn't even last a week. Before anything else happens, Elix Skipper is attacked by Monty Brown. Like, this just happens randomly. But we understand why, because it's payback for him for Skipper setting up Monty Brown last week to be attacked by Ron, the Truth, Ron Killings.
Eddie Gordo.
Yeah. He beats up Skipper, goes to leave, stops, goes back, hits an alpha bomb, leaves. Without going anywhere, Jeff Jarrett comes out. Tonight was hectic. The whole show was hectic. Yeah, had a match, had a run-in, beat up. Now here comes Jeff Jarrett carrying a sack. The first thing I said was, well, he has a body.
It moved too.
Oh yeah, it started wiggling around. So Jarrett's out there going on a rant about how he's was told that he's basically the back of the line. He's going to have to work his way from the bottom up. So he's taking this way too literally in the classic heel fashion. Apparently, he kidnapped a midget.
Sorry. It's so horrible to laugh about, but it was funny.
And started beating up the midget, who is tied up and in this sack. I mean, he takes the sack off before he starts beating him up, but he's still tied up. This gets interrupted by Puppet, the midget killer, who comes out, apparently pissed that Jarrett's stealing his shtick, and also apparently has a gun. I don't see that very often.
Sorry.
At least this week, security came out to do their jobs, and while Puppet's distracted with them, Jarrett finally gets Puppet from behind with a chair, so he drops the gun.
Gets everybody with a chair.
Yeah, he goes wild. This is up until Ricky Steamboat finally comes out.
Like, I think he even hits primetime with the chair.
Probably. Jarrett doesn't care at this point. He has lost it.
Like I said,
But Steamboat comes out. He's got Don Harris and the vice president with him.
I don't know who Don Harris is.
He's the big bald dude that's the head of security.
Well, I know that, but I don't know what significance he has to anything is.
Well, he's the head of security and he's a former wrestler.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay. Anyways, he comes out basically to put Jarrett in his place, and Jarrett then challenges Steamboat to a battle, to fight. Looks like Steamboat accepts with like the stipulation being, Jarrett wins, he gets a title shot. If Jarrett loses, he has to take the 60-day suspension. But this apparently was a setup because Scott Hall sneaks into the ring behind Jarrett and beats him up. And then after Jarrett, gets away, Hall does a little promo and promises to put Jarrett on a stretcher tonight, because Jarrett did it twice to him.
Sorry.
Though actually, you know what? I didn't even think about this during while watching, but technically, one of those stretcher jobs was done by the Truth. Jarrett just attacked him on the stretcher. I'm just being fair here.
It is. Like I said, I honestly think that Sunglasses has every right to be pissed off. I mean, he lost a battle royal because of someone who's not even a wrestler throwing him out, and like he's not had a proper fair chance, and like I don't understand why he's a heel, to tell you the truth.
All right. Well, not to end this cavalcade of things happening.
Sorry.
We cut to the. No, you're fine. You're fine. While I bring this up, could you shut off the?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right. So we go to the back, 1 second. All right, back to it. We go to the back. Goldie's back there with Sonny Siaki, doing a quick interview. And he's basically hyping up his match, which is up next, saying he doesn't need any backup. He's, Sonny Siaki's the man. And I just note that Siaki has like 1/100th the charisma of The Rock. Like they're trying to. Okay, this is kind of like it was like a rock promo, like a heel rock promo, but like Siaki has like no charisma. He doesn't. He just got no mic skills. That's my point. He's got no mic skills.
I'm sorry.
I don't know why they have him talking so much. He needs a manager or something.
I'm so sick of Sonny Siaki.
I don't mind the name. I just mind the fact that he's a black hole of charisma.
That's so mean.
It's true.
I'm not denying that. I don't like it. It's not even in my top 10.
All right. Well, match number 2, which is what he was sort of hyping up. It was Slash from the Disciples of the New Church versus Sonny Siaki. Sonny comes out completely without Jimmy Yang or Estrada. But Slash does come out with James Mitchell. I don't think there's an S at the end of that. All right. Well, Mitchell sits on commentary, and during this entire match, he's selling this new little trinket he has with him. I forget what it's called. It's some sort of arc, and he says it's filled with the blood of the Aoudad, which I looked up. It's just an African sheep. I don't know what significance that has. Yeah, an Aoudad is just an African sheep. That's all it is. It's got horns. I guess you could associate it with satanic imagery.
Okay.
Which is basically all you could really do with it. All right. Early in the match, we get to see some of Sonny Siaki being overconfident, doing his poses, but this allows Slash to get the upper hand over him. We did see Slash try to do a sunset powerbomb to the outside. Siaki turns that into a head scissors, which was pretty cool. Getting back into the ring, we see Slash do a spinning crucifix drop. I've always hated those type of moves, though. I don't understand why they do them. I guess the idea is that you disorient them with the spinning. I don't see why you need to drop them at that point.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Took me a minute.
All right. They do the spot where they have Siaki in submission and he's fading, so the ref lifts his arm, and of course on the third arm raise, his arm stays up. He powers back up and fights out of it. Eventually, they get to the corner, exchange some blows, and then they both fall and get crotched on the ropes. Slash was on the corner though, whereas Siaki was on the actual rope part. So Siaki fell back in. Slash climbed back up, being in the corner, and went for a senton and missed. At this point, Siaki controls the match for quite a while until James Mitchell distracts the ref. Slash, for whatever reason, puts a bag over Siaki's head and hits a reverse neck breaker and gets the victory.
I don't know.
They never actually explain the relevance of the bag, but he does it twice tonight. Anyway, I don't know. It probably has some sort of symbolism about being blind, is my thing. Afterwards, James Mitchell come in, does some shtick about going down the wrong path and stuff like that, and says that they're going to mark Siaki. So Slash has Siaki tied up, held in the ropes, and
Get his name?
whose name? Oh, Mitchell. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Mitchell has the arc open. He takes the blood and puts it on Siaki's head in like an upside-down cross or something. I actually don't know what symbol he was drawing, because it doesn't look like anything specific. And we never got a really good look at it. Don Harris comes out to end this. They run away. Or They run away. Malice actually comes out too to confront Don Harris, but Mitchell doesn't let them get into it. Overall, mediocre match. Siaki is pretty good. Siaki is pretty good in the ring when he's not too blown up, but God, he just has no charisma. He doesn't sell the gimmick like the other two do. So.
Oh yeah, the other two definitely.
Like, I really want Siaki to be broken off from this when we can just have the tag team of the two Elvises. That would be my preference right now. We go back to the back again. Goldie is with Ricky Steamboat, and he basically gives us a reason why he's there. Ricky's there to stop, put everything back under control and be the law. And it's at this point that I noticed the shirt that Goldilocks is wearing, and I laughed my ass off.
It is a funny shirt.
It's the no smoking sign, but instead of a cigarette, it's the dups.
I don't play.
No dups. Considering she's had 2 or 3 weeks of interactions with them that have just been absolutely gross, I don't blame her.
I don't like them. I can't wait for them not.
I don't know how much longer we have to deal with them.
Hopefully.
All right. Next segment. Come to Ron Killings. He comes out and he stops next to one of the dancing girls who happens to be a black woman. And he just basically goes on to try to say that she's being exploited and stuff. But he does it in a very insulting way.
He called her a 2-bit whore. Or hoe. I'm sorry.
He said hoe.
Sorry.
As I said, very insulting way.
He slapped him.
And then she slaps him.
And he gets pissed off at her and like attack.
Oh yeah, he was going to. That Monty Brown, being the best thing on the show, comes out to attack Truth. Beats him up for a bit until Truth finally gets his hand on a trash can with a 2x4 and breaks it over him.
I kind of want to know what the fuck was going on with that 2x4 and that trash can, but
I don't know why that was there, but it was so.
It was a thing.
So we see Steamboat again, being the authority figure. He's got to be in every segment that gets out of control. The fighting manages to end at that point, but Steamboat is confronting I keep wanting to call him R-Truth. The Truth, Ron Killings. He's R-Truth now. So they have a bit of a back and forth about what's happening. Ricky's just like, hey, look. You want to tell me what your grievances are? I'm here to listen. But, he's also saying that there's a lot of problems with what I think you're trying to say, so I want to know what it is so that we can set the record straight. And Truth gets into a bunch of shtick about how Steamboat won the Intercontinental title, but it seemed like he was never given a chance at the World Championship in WWE. So after this history lesson, Ricky finally comes back and he's just like, all right, you know what? Fine. I'll give you that shot that I never got. So next week, we have scheduled a world title match between Ron Killings and Ken Shamrock. And then Killings celebrates by rapping in the ring.
Horribly.
I don't know. I don't think he's terrible.
All right, whatever.
It's better. It's less entertaining, but it's actually better rapping than like what John Cena used to do when he was the Doctor of Thugonomics. What?
Oh wait, you're being serious?
That was his gimmick for like 3 years. He's the Doctor of Thugonomics.
Gotcha.
That's where word life comes. He throws up his hands like that.
Whatever.
All right, match number 3 of the night. Malice versus Apollo. All right. Match opens. They start shoving each other around and then trading strikes. At some point, Apollo tries to go for a leap for a top rope for a Hurricane Rana, but Malice seems to lose his balance, and they kind of tumble. For the early part of the match, Apollo was in control, clotheslines on the outside, and then dives onto Malice. Both of them be fighting on the outside. They get back in the ring. At some point, they get back in the ring. Malice kind of returns his favor by trying to throw Apollo over the top rope with like a a backdrop, but Apollo manages to hold on the rope and land on his feet. Then he lands on his feet on the outside, and he pulls Malice back to the outside. They do a bunch of trading of blows on the outside until they start throwing Apollo into the corner. I think he gets cut open a little bit there. He also throws him into the guardrails a few times, so Malice has control of the match through this point. I noted they were out there for quite a long time fighting, between fighting and throwing each other around. I don't know why there was no 10 count at this point. They were out way too long for that. And I swear to God, it had been like 20 seconds of outside fighting, and that's when I heard heard one time the ref go 4, and I'm like 27. You're going way too slow. Get back in the ring. Malice has control, hitting slams and power moves. A desperation DDT gets Apollo some momentum back. He hits a super kick and wins. And I think, again, this marks the 4th match with Malice in it where he has not won a single one of them.
Yeah, he is. I'm losing.
He's supposed to be like the main guy, like the main guy in the Church of the... Whatever the hell are Disciples of the New Church, that's it. But he is not winning.
Yeah, I don't like...
So far, he's just a big loser.
He went from like my top favorite to like not even top 5, I don't...
All right. So after losing, he's upset and choke slams the ref, Malice. He's also going to attack Apollo. And I think they were going to also do the marking of Apollo. But before this happens, Don Harris comes back out to put an end to this. But all this ends up doing is Slash gets him from behind with the bag again, does his neck breaker, and then they do the thing where they mark Harris after another choke slam. So now Don Harris has been marked, and this is setting up for a confrontation down the line. I think next week, actually, because they're not really building too far in the future, except for a couple storylines. Because we're building up the hot shots and AMW, Jerry Lynn and Styles and stuff like that, but outside of that, a lot of stuff gets resolved rather quickly. Just because it's a tumultuous period in TNA's time. They're doing weekly pay-per-views. If revenue drops off majorly, it's kind of over. So, you got to keep that perspective as we're watching this and understanding why they're making certain decisions.
A lot of their decisions so far are stupid. Like the dubs.
As sometimes when you fill out the roster, you end up with things that aren't. All right. Afterwards, we have Don West in the ring, and he introduces Taylor Vaught again, who has now apparently been crowned Miss TNA. What are you doing?
Sorry,
I noted that apparently the reward for winning the Battle Royal keeps changing. Originally, it was just a contract, and then it was a valet contract. Now it's to be Miss TNA. I don't know what that means.
All 3, maybe? I don't know.
But it was never mentioned until tonight.
True.
All right, so I think this was supposed to just be an interview, but it ends up getting interrupted by Bruce from the Rainbow.
Russ?
Yeah, thank you. Wanted to say the Rainbow Connection.
The lovers? The dreamers and you?
Yes. Bruce cut his hair even more.
Oh my god.
It's so short now. He looks so generic.
He really does.
I expect him to be bald next week. Or at least next time we see him. But yeah, he just looks like a generic muscular dude.
With rainbow shorts.
With rainbow shorts. Everything else is just apparently he wants to be Miss TNA, so he challenges Taylor for it. For some reason. I didn't know you could just challenge for that title. But after calling her a bitch, she basically accepts and kicks him in the nuts. I don't count this really as a match. It was very, very short, very pathetic. Just a few moves, though I will note that I was surprised she could lift him as easily as she did, so apparently she's a lot stronger than she.
Women normally are, honey.
That's not true at all. Anyways.
I'm stronger than I look.
That's, okay, no. Not getting into it. Anyways, Bruce eventually does, I guess.
So now he's Miss Tna?
I suppose he wore the tiara and the sash.
He fake cried.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Goldie goes to interview Loki after this. He doesn't really say anything other than he's going to talk in the ring. So, like, just watch the match. I don't know why we do this. I mean, I guess, it sells the character, but, like, it's a waste of time. If all he's going to say is watch the match and walk away, just do the match. All right, so this is going to be the payoff for our earlier, I guess. Because now it's Loki versus Jerry Lynn. I noted earlier, though I didn't mention it, it seems that 3 out of the 6 guys from the elimination #1 contender match for X Division Championship or just completely forgotten. Because Christopher Daniels was number 2 at that, and Jerry Lynn was number 6, and now just Kid Romeo, Christopher Daniels, and Tony Mamaluk just seem to have disappeared. And I don't know why.
Tough to know.
Well, at least 2 of them we've only seen once. Christopher Daniels has been on 2 shows now.
Yeah, didn't he do a tag team? I think.
He and Loki had he and the Skipper had a tag team match against the Elvises? Yeah, it was the Elvises because they, after that match, they attacked the winners because the Flying Elvises have been upset that they've not really been included. Even though all 3 of them are very much easily qualify as X Division competitors. There's no actual like rules of what it requires you to be in the X Division, but it's kind of like generally accepted. It's the more like flippy guys. X Division is supposed to be like a more high energy, more over the top moves type of thing. At least that's what it's trying to sell itself as right now. So that's what makes up the division, and it makes sense. It makes sense for the most part, anyways. It's more than likely less. It's like a cruiserweight division, but there is no specific weight limit. More of a style.
Oh, okay.
And I know a few guys in it kind of break the traditional style. Like you'll have Samoa Joe, who is Samoa Joe. Low-key doesn't do so much to the flipping moves. It's more of a striker and dude. Later, there's Douglas Williams, but for the most part, it's people like AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, smaller, more agile, athletic guys that just like are more spectacular or showy move stuff.
I don't know. Jerry Lynn also doesn't really.
Jerry Lynn's pretty good, and Jerry Lynn fits right in.
Oh no! I'm not saying he's bad or anything. I'm just saying I don't remember him doing a flippy thing.
All right. I don't really have Styles is on commentary with this. I don't really have a lot to say about this match because it was a lot more lock up and exchanges in the first half of the match.
I did notice one thing, but this was also noticed because I was starving at the time.
What?
Jerry Lynn's hair looked like oodles and noodles, and I was.
Yeah, he's got really nice curly hair. That's that has layered coloring.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I was just starving, and like throughout this match, I was just like, I got hungrier. Eventually though, the match does switch gears. Jerry Lynn hits a really, really big over the top tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Loki that I just absolutely. I also find out during this match that apparently they can do picture-in-picture in this programming because during it we see AJ Styles in the corner with the main part of the screen being the actual match happening.
Later on, we see Jerry Lynn go for a package pile driver. Loki turns it into an arm bar. I was happy at this point because the match was picking up pace. But I noted it's probably my least favorite exhibition match so far at this point. Eventually, it switches gears into Loki getting a lot of high energy kicks and jumping maneuvers. Loki does a backflip combination where Jerry Lynn catches him and does a spinning power bomb. That was awesome. Loki does for a dragon sleeper onto Jerry Lynn. This gets reversed into a tornado DDT. We get some really close near falls coming out of some of these big moves that are happening. Jerry Lynn misses another cradle pile driver attempt. He goes to set him up. You know how he puts him like underneath his legs. You know, he puts his head in his crotch basically.
Yeah.
And that's when he does his little thing, his little pump thing to show that's what he's going for.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, he's just like, I'm signaling that I'm doing my finisher. That's what Jerry Lynn's doing. So when he does that, Loki, to get out of it this time, just like flips forward from underneath him and hits him in the head with a kick. The match ends though with a no contest after Styles gets on the apron and kicks Jerry Lynn in the back of the head. And as Styles is basically gloating over Lynn, Loki, being really pissed about his match being interrupted, attacks AJ Styles. And we'll learn later that this is setting up a triple threat match. I think it was very clear that was what they were trying to do, in my opinion. So next week, this is the second match we have the setup for next week that I'm excited about. This next week sounds like a really good show. So it's a triple threat: AJ Styles, Loki, Jerry Lynn, X Division Championship.
So cute.
Okay. Are you not excited for this? That's gonna be a good match.
I'm not as excited as you are. You're adorable.
I'll be honest, I am more excited for the next show than I am this one.
The one that we're talking about right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Go to the back again. This time, Goldilocks is with Don Harris. Don Harris basically just lets us know that he has asked for a first blood match with Malice, and that will be happening next week as well. So we got three, basically half the card full for next week, and they're all potentially good matches. I guess the worst one of the three, well, it's really hard to say which one would be the worst of the three. The best one is obviously going to be the triple threat. Shamrock could be good. It just depends on how that goes, and then they give it a proper amount of time. And Don Harris versus Malice is probably going to be the worst one, but I don't know. I've never seen it.
Not really excited about that.
Well, I also had noted that, like, while we have, like, the stuff we know we have left at this point is the Jive Talking and Scott Hall versus Jarrett, and I wasn't excited for Jive Talking. All right. And that's what happens to be next anyways. All right, so Jive Talk. It is Disco Inferno's talk show segment. He comes out, does his shtick about how he's overinflating his own ego and how important he is. Says he's basically in talks to replace Oprah, but he never actually says her name. He also mentions that he is going to be doing a sort of a women's search for the hottest, sexiest, dumbest bitch to be Miss Jive Talkin'. He also promises that his first guest is going to expose her breasts.
Yeah.
Skur's first guest is Goldilocks. He also calls her a stupid bitch when introducing her. So, when she comes out, the first thing she is just like, you're insulting me, and I'm just gonna leave. So he basically begs her to stay. I didn't know Goldilocks was a musician, but they talk about some of her music. So I guess she has albums.
I actually did know she was.
How did you know this?
She mentioned something about it during one of the Dubs interview that she's.
I just thought that was a one-off comment.
I thought so too, but like I remembered it, so
It's not something it's not something I kept track of because I usually do not care about one-off. But fair enough. But I guess she has music out there. Maybe I'll look for it. We can talk about it next week. See if it's any good. I do know during this, I don't know why do they keep bleeping out the word balls, but they never bleep out bitch. I guess. So it comes down to basically he pushes past talking out the music because it's not really what he cared about, and then he demands that she takes off her top because he promised she'd expose her breasts. Yeah, and after some threats, she gets jumped from behind by some really tall woman. The commentators mentioned she was from Tough Enough. I don't remember. But she chokes out Goldie, and then her and Disco walk. I've never watched Tough Enough. I know the winner of the first one was, I think, Maven. That's it. I know some of the winners. That's about it.
And me.
Well, it's from WWE. All right. Last match. Sixth match of the night because I don't count the TNA. Scott Hall versus Jeff Jarrett. Hall brings a stretcher to the ring. When Jarrett's making his way out, Hall runs up to attack him. The bell rings, so I guess whatever. It's not false count anywhere, so I guess it's just a no disqualification match. So yeah, Hall's just beating up Jarrett, keeps him up, gets him to the announce table, beats him up there. They get in the ring for a little bit. Jarrett is just getting beat up more and more and more. He tries to get some offense, but just kind of jumps into a fallaway slam, which he just rolls out of the ring and tries to run away. Fucking Scott Hall just chases him down. They fight up the ramp, they fight around the arena, they fight through the crowd, they fight outside. At some point, Jeff Jarrett, during this brawling, like shoves Jerry Lynn. They finally fight their way back to the ring, and after Jarrett gets thrown into the ring, Hall goes to pick up the stretcher, and Jarrett kind of reverses the momentum by doing a baseball slide into the stretcher to knock Scott Hall down. They fight each other with the stretcher. They fight that a lot of the next several things is like they keep using the stretcher as a weapon, but they use it like it's a ladder. But it doesn't have like the bulk and girth that the ladder does. So they'll do things like set it up Bridget on like the ropes in the corner, and he'll throw Scott Hall back first and do it, but it just flies away because there's nothing holding it in position. At least at one point, when Scott Hall does this, he doesn't throw Jarrett into it and just have it fly off. He drops Jarrett balls first on the stretcher. Eventually, he does hit his razor's edge, but the pinfall is stopped when Ron Killings comes out and tugs the referee out of the ring. Monty Brown comes out. This whole fucking thing breaks down at this point. Monty Brown comes out. Jerry Lynn runs out. He does some move onto Jarrett. AJ Styles comes out, but he doesn't get to do anything because Don Harris stops him, and then Malice and Slash run out. And it's just a bunch of fighting all around the ring. During this distraction, both the guys somehow got knocked down. Hull getting back up accidentally hits the ref with the stretcher. He's distracted. Jarrett gets the chair. Steamboat comes in to try to stop Jarrett. Jarrett goes to attack Steamboat with the chair, and he does the classic I miss, hit the ropes, and it bounces back and hits me in the head. Afterwards, Scott Hall goes to grab the chair and use it. I don't know why, but Steamboat tries to stop him. I don't know what's happening at this point. It's just everything's chaotic. Steamboat's trying to get control. Jarrett hits the stroke onto Scott Hall on the chair and gets the victory, and with seconds to spare, rolls Hall onto the stretcher to end the show.
I'm happy Sunglasses won.
Yes. I like that they're building. I like that they're trying to build Jarrett up by having him continue to like get one over on at least in matches. But they do it in ways where he's just kind of fortunate it happens. But anyways, the show was fine. I'll give it a feast.
I like the end, so I'll give it a feast.
I also asked you why we were doing this, who your like top 10 guys were, because you kept bringing it up.
I did bring it up.
So at the end here, I want to ask you. So who are your top 10?
All right. Do you want it from my least favorite?
Yeah,
like
go
from...
count down 10 to 1. Who is
okay,
your top 10 from your least favorite of the top 10 to your most favorite?
All right. So 10 is Slasher.
Okay. Slash.
Yeah. 9 is Sunglasses.
Jeff Jarrett.
8 is Tempest.
Really?
Yeah.
Barely seen him, but okay.
I know, but like I couldn't think in like one of the.
Awesome. He was Devin Storm before, but yeah, Tempest.
7 is Malice.
Right.
6 is Country Singer. 5 is Kitty.
Country Singer.
Country.
James Storm.
Yeah, and 5 is Kitty.
Chris Harris.
Yes. 4 is Stylus.
AJ Styles.
3 is Jerry Lynn, which I am now going to call Oodles and Noodles.
Jerry Lynn, all right.
2 is Yang.
Okay, Jimmy Yang.
And my number 1 is Estrada.
Okay, and Jorge Estrada. All right.
Yes.
Not a bad list.
No, it's not. It's.
I don't think I'd put Tempest on there.
Well, Tempest is in there, so ask me again after a couple more matches, and maybe it'll change.
I probably wouldn't put Disciples of the New Church on my list.
But yeah, those are my top 10 from least to favorite.
All right. Most of them have been pretty well displayed, with Tempest being the one on there that's kind of the oddball. At the very least, we've seen a good showing from all.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Even if they're not all winning, at least we've seen some good development for them. So I can't really blame you on that. But yeah. With that said, is it double feast this week?
It is, surprisingly.
Hopefully we'll get that next week, because next week sounds like a fantastic show. And speaking of which, hope to see you then next week. Like, comment, and subscribe, and take care.
Have a good night.
Keep wrestling.